Hey, morning, guys. So I want to speak about the Sterling Oz that we've been discussing recently. And if you guys have been watching the videos, you would have seen that I've been speaking about the sort of resistance at the top of this channel and the expectancy that we could potentially at some point fall back down towards the bottom end of this channel. Now, I just want to make you aware that when you're playing and looking at these higher time frames, that this doesn't happen instantly. And it's very, very easy to get whipsawed, especially if you're going with tight stops. So as you can see, the market has sold off, but now it's kind of, again, trying to push a little bit higher here and, really go and test the resolve of the sellers, you know. So it's very, very easy to get whipsaw. So I spoke yesterday, possibly there could be the opportunity to maybe kind of look at this as a possible resistance, and you can see it did initially react, and now it's broken that structure there. So past support did not become strong enough resistance, and now it's trying to push a little bit higher. So what I'm basically looking at here is, well, where is this likely then to stop? Okay, well, one of the tools that I like to use is the Fibonacci, and this kind of gives you a structure where a cycle might complete. So here we have an A, this is a B, so the market goes from an A to a B, and it's basically pulled back into this little zone here, which is a gray zone, and that has created our C point. So A, B, C, and what I can actually see up here is a D right there, and this is not untypical. It would not surprise me at all to see the market push up to this D, take out these highs, basically create FOMO, so people start to jump in and probably trap the bulls only to see the market go back down. And, I was looking at the calendar to see what's kind of coming out, to see if anything could spark, that extra volatility. And what I can see is we had GDP, okay, and that came out slightly negative, and that's basically created a little bit of selling pressure on the Oz. And bear in mind, guys, that you're dealing with a a currency where we just recently had the rate statement. The rates were kept unchanged, but it seems right now that this data is somewhat important because there is talk of a rate cut in the next quarter for the Oz, and it's going to really have an impact if the economy is not doing so well and needs a bit of stimulus. So for example, if you look here, we're talking about the last quarter, we had a number of 0.6%. So output was 0.6%. Now, they were thinking it's going to go down to 0.5%, but it actually went down to 0.4%. So that's sold off the Australian dollar. And then we have more data coming out overnight. And so right here we have retail sales, and we've got a previous number of 0.2. Now the expectancy is that retail numbers are going to be strong, but if they're not, then that could again push sterling Aussie up by pushing the Australian dollar down. And of course, we also have trade balance, and which could also have a small impact. Now, the way I treat news is I treat it as noise, okay? And what normally happens is when these numbers come out, a reaction happens, but then that's all priced in, and it just reaffirms the expectancy that a rate cut might happen. And so therefore that particular currency might have a drop. But ultimately, we use that noise to find better opportunities that match the technicals, which is why it would still make sense, to look up here as a potential area to sell the sterling Oz. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be looking for. And often what I like to do, especially when you have a weekly chart or a daily chart that looks like this, where the potential downside is huge, I like to generally give it a little bit more room to the upside in terms of where I put my stop, and I like to scale into my trade so I don't need to perfectly predict where the market's going to stop. Okay, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. Hopefully that's useful. Wishing you a great trading day, and I'll be with you again soon with another trade idea. Take care, guys. All the best.